You're listening to WOSD. I'm your host, Layla Palmer, from the OSD Marketing, Engagement, and Training team. Thank you for joining us for another installment of WOSD News. In this episode, we'll review the health and wellness resources available on statewide contracts. It's National Wellness Month. Life can feel overwhelming at times, from building a career and pursuing an education to raising a family and managing daily responsibilities. Our schedules often leave little room for self-care. As summer winds down, National Wellness Month offers the perfect opportunity to pause, reflect, and recommit to prioritizing our health and well-being. Practicing self-care looks different for everyone. I enjoy taking walks, doing yoga, and meditating to stay grounded, while others may enjoy spending quality time with their loved ones or reading a good book. Regardless of what self-care looks like to you, join the Operational Services Division in prioritizing health and wellness this August for National Wellness Month. Today, I am delighted to be joined by OSD Category Manager Hayley Lebert, who will share health and wellness resources for eligible buyers on statewide contracts. But first, I asked Hayley how she prioritizes self-care in her own life. Hi, welcome Hayley Lebert to WOSD News. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Layla?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Always great to have someone new on WOSD News. So why don't you introduce yourself and explain what you do here?
Of course. I am a category manager here at OSD. I manage the professional services, or PRF, categories and the sustainable facilities, or SFC, category.
So today we're talking all about health and wellness, and August, it's National Wellness Month. So what do you do in your own free time to prioritize wellness and self-care?
Of course. I think it's super important to note that self-care doesn't have to be a huge or flashy change from your normal day-to-day. Sometimes it's just taking 5 minutes to hit that pause button and put everything down to get your mind and your body in line. With that in mind, OSD operates on a hybrid schedule where my workday consists of primarily working from home. Over time, I've noticed that I was spending significantly longer amounts of time working when I was at home versus when I was in the office. One thing I've done lately to focus on my self-care and wellness is to prioritize no screen time during my off hours. I set up my smart speaker at home and to automatically turn off anything with a screen at my scheduled end time for each day. And then I also set it up again to do that at night, so I have kind of a timer of when everything turns off. This has really helped me to establish my own boundaries with work and promotes a healthy sleep schedule.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Recently, I set the downtime settings on my phone, so after 9 p.m., I don't go doom scrolling on social media or all those things, and it's a lot better for sleep to not have all the phone time right before bed, so certainly agree with that. Next, let's hear about the health and wellness resources available on OSD's statewide contracts. Hayley will discuss the services provided to eligible entities on statewide contract PRF76 for management consultants, program coordinators, and planner services. So when it comes to our statewide contracts, how can buyers prioritize health and wellness using OSD statewide contracts?
Our PRF76 contract actually offers a few options for that. That's our management consultants, program coordinators, and planner services contract. It provides a wide-ranging list of independent, experienced, and pre-qualified vendors that offer an array of management consulting services under multiple categories.
Awesome. And can you just explain PRF 76 a little bit more? What's offered under that contract? And then what categories should buyers really be focusing on for those health and wellness resources?
Absolutely. PRF 76 is a massive contract that covers as kind of a catch-all for our professional services. But for the purposes of what we're talking about today, Category 8 is a great option for our buyers. Those are health and human services vendors, and they provide integrated human services that aid communities, families, and individuals in faster and cost-effective ways. specifically in public health services, mental health, developmental, employment services, even child service organizations, and emergency preparedness.
Awesome. What kind of vendors are available on Category 8 specifically, and what needs do they fulfill for eligible entities?
Of course, all of these pre-qualified vendors under the category, they can be requested to perform a bunch of different services. So they can develop plans in accordance with specified regulatory requirements. They can provide organizational assessments for the purpose of assessing problems and proposing solutions to improve work culture. They can also act as project management consultants, planning and program coordinators, and health and safety consulting services. They can also update emergency plans and help you look at essential functions in accordance with your state and/or federal requirements, and assess objective research on health indicators for surveys, focus groups, and interviews with community leaders.
So definitely a variety of vendors and the different purposes that they serve under this contract category. So to wrap up, what advice would you give to buyers who are using PRF76 for the very first time?
I would give two big pieces of advice. One is to write an extremely detailed statement of work. That statement of work describes your project in detail, including the budget that you're looking at, the time constraints you may have, and the tasks that you're looking to have completed. The more details you include in that statement of work, the better outcome you're going to have on your project. My second piece of advice is to always select the entire vendor list when putting out your bid. I have a lot of buyers that reach out to me and ask why they're not getting responses. It's because they only selected 2 to 3 vendors. The wider net you cast, the more fish you're going to catch.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Hayley, for joining me on WOSD News today. We hope to have you back. But yeah, this is definitely very helpful information, and I think our buyers will get a lot of use out of this.
Great, thanks for having me.
This concludes today's episode on National Wellness Month and health and wellness resources available on OSD's statewide contracts. Let us know in the comments how you're celebrating National Wellness Month and focusing on self-care in your own life. For more information, head to mass.gov/buy from a statewide contract and navigate to the Professional Services, or PRF, contract category. OSD looks forward to engaging with you on our social media and YouTube channels. Links to those are in the description box. To suggest ideas for future podcasts, email the OSD team at osdoutreach@mass.gov. Thank you to Hayley Lebert for joining us today. This podcast was produced, audio engineered, and edited by me, Layla Palmer. Thank you for joining us.